Well then, again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Building Strength Webinars, and welcome to our webinar tonight. Are you getting the love that you want? With Daniela Aradanov. And you know, folks, relationships used to be pretty straightforward when men and women both had a clear role. And you know, that's only as little as 50 or 60 years ago. But in today's fast-paced environment, many women are busy running businesses, leading corporations, making the world go around just as well as men, of course. Now, how is this impacting relationships, or is it? Well, the game has changed, and we're making the rules as we go, striving to keep our relationships happy and healthy. But it isn't easy for either men or women, and we don't always win. Women can be tired and overburdened. Men can feel a little confused and uncertain in new roles in society. So, what would happen? What would be the new model of a happy union in the new millennium? And that's just one question that Daniela Aradanov is going to answer tonight. Now, Daniela is the founder and CEO of All of You Lifestyle Company Limited. And actually, after graduating from college, Daniela held a number of progressive corporate roles, which helped her develop an appreciation for the many work-life challenges that employees face today. And her company, All of You, was born out of the need for a more balanced and fulfilling life. And Daniela made it her goal to positively impact other people's lives by offering solutions that inspire fun, fulfillment, and balance while seamlessly integrating with their current style. And Daniela is a true visionary who is on a mission to improve the quality of people's lives, and she's passionate about her calling and possesses an indomitable spirit. And you're going to be seeing and hearing all of that tonight as Building Strength Webinars is proud to present Are You Getting the Love That You Want? With Daniela Aradanov. Welcome, Daniela.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you for that kind introduction. And I would like to thank Dr. David for giving me the opportunity.
And of course, that's, folks, that's David Ajibadi, who is the founder of Building Strength Webinars.
Okay, Dave,
and Daniela,
before you go,
I just slide.
Yes, I just want to make sure that I'm technically correct and we have everything working for all these amazing people. So you see my screen and you can hear me well.
I see your screen and you sound great.
Awesome. Thank you, Dave. Lovely. So welcome, everybody. And Dave already said almost everything I wanted to say to introduce myself. So thank you, Dave. I just want to add that I'm also a mother. I have a 16-year-old daughter who serves as a great inspiration to me. And since we will be talking about relationships, I thought I would introduce my partner Massimo, who is really, he's been such a great gift to me. Relationships was not, I'm a life coach, and I started my business out of passion to help people create the most amazing lives that they can possibly desire. And initially, relationships was not on my radar screen. I didn't realize that relationships was something I didn't know how to do well, because I always got what I wanted in my relationships. But since meeting Massimo, I have been able to grow so much tremendously, and relationship is now what I think is really the most critical thing in life, because it even affects our health tremendously. Relationships are a great source of either joy or frustration, and in today's society, as Dave mentioned, we have grown into women are becoming much more powerful, and we live in very masculine world. So I think both men and women are faced with redesigning the model of successful and happy relationship. And we'll definitely touch a little more on that later. So welcome everyone tonight, and I really want to thank you for being with me. I know it's a beautiful night in Toronto, and I imagine there's a lot of places you could have been and you chose to be here. So I really want to thank you for that, and I'm committed that you will get value out of today. So as I said, I'm in a relationship with this amazing man, Massimo, and the reason Massimo and I joined forces, we actually created a business together after we met, is because when I met Massimo, I was actually lucky to have been through an experience that awakened me to the fact that the reason I didn't do well in the relationship was not because men were bad and ignorant and incompetent, and anything else I discovered uh, about men was actually not true. It was my own fault that caused men to react to me the way that they did. And at the time when I met Massimo, he was in a somewhat similar place where he was getting a little bit disappointed with type of women that he was meeting. And when we met, we realized that relationships are challenging because nobody teaches us how to do that. It's something that we kind of muddle through life, and we're really very ill-prepared for what is to come. So when Massimo and I met, we decided to join forces, and we created this I don't want to call it a business because for us it's really a passion. We call it the perfect blend for couples. And we take couples to amazing places in Europe, palaces and castles in Italy, France, Turkey, and we allow them to really cherish each other. We teach them skills and we give them tools to deepen their love and compassion, to really reclaim the passion and love that brought them initially together. So today I just want to go a little bit over what today's webinar is going to be about. And I would like, the reason I structure my webinars in a very coach-like way is so that I'm committed that everyone walks out of today with a real insight into their own relationships. I don't want to just give you information because information is available all over the internet, but I want you to really take an honest look at yourself and your own relationship and hopefully come out of today with something that is practical and you can apply in your life right away. So today we will get a little taste of what relationship coaching looks like and the kind of results that you can expect will be possible. And we will create a new possibility for yourself in an area of your relationship that really matters to you. And I'm really committed that everyone gets that new possibility today. So without too much ado, we're going to take a quick look at where you are in your relationship right now. So there's a number of places that people may find themselves, and you can be in a relationship where you have both love and passion, and that's awesome. You would be one of those people who can serve as a role model to others. And I don't say that lightly. I think we don't have too many people that today we can learn from. So if you are in a relationship where you do have both love and passion, own it and share with the world. You could be in a relationship where love is present, but there is no longer passion. And as Dave said, we see a lot of that today because simply women have grown to be more masculine and men have relaxed more into their feminine. And there's nothing wrong with either. The challenge is, though, that passion is created through sexual polarity. So as women, as we become much more masculine and driven, and men relax more into their feminine, and then they start to be more in touch with their emotions. It's all a beautiful change of integration. The challenge, though, is to watch that in moments of intimacy we lose passion. And a lot of couples today live in a partnership. They or companions who might be together for the purpose of the kids, or you know, there's a number of different reasons why people may come together, but in order for passion to exist, it's like two magnets. You need to create that sexual polarity, and we'll spend a lot more time talking about what it takes and how you can evoke it. It's actually beautiful because you can evoke passion in a split second. It can be lost for years. Passion is actually what creates attraction. Contrary to popular belief, attraction is not based on physical attraction, it's based on sexual polarity. You could be in a relationship where things are not working and you're just planning an escape. And if that's where you are, I hope that you get something out of today to either turn your relationship around or to be clear of whether an escape is the best strategy for you. You could be in a relationship where you are, I'm sorry, that's a typo, you might be single and you may want a relationship, or you might be single who doesn't want a relationship. So either way, we are offering information tonight that I hope will inspire you towards building the relationship of your dreams. Now, before we move on, I just want to make a little comment about listening. And as human beings, we have this tendency to listen from a place of judgment. And I really hold people as competent and accomplished, and I trust that you have a lot of information and you probably have a lot of experience too. So I'm not here to teach you the secrets to life, but I will share information that you may not have heard before. So when you do that, what I find works is to take that information with a fresh mindset and just look at how that information might serve you with what is it that you're dealing with right now. Don't try to judge it or compare with what you already know, because you know how we all have this voice in our head that keeps talking and judging and comparing? You know that voice? If you're thinking right now, what voice is she talking about? That's the voice I'm talking about, the voice that is constantly talking to us. So just for tonight, try to kind of put that voice aside and listen from a fresh perspective. So the first exercise that I have for you guys is what we call in coaching a relationship wheel. And I would like you to actually take a piece of paper if you have one handy and draw a wheel similar to the one you see on the screen. Typically, we have a lot more sections on that wheel, but for tonight, I just simplified the wheel, and I would like you to put passion, love, sex, and intimacy in all 4 squares of the wheel. And I'm going to attempt to draw on my wheel, which is something I haven't done before. Okay, it's not working for me. So let's draw the wheel and just separate your wheel, just divide it into 4 sections, and let's have passion, love, intimacy, and sex in each section. And for the first exercise, we're just going to go around that wheel and we're going to assess where you are in your current relationship. Now, I appreciate that some of you may not be in a relationship, so take that opportunity to just assess. You can use a previous relationship as an example, or you can just take a fresh look at, use that opportunity to create the desired relationship for your life through that exercise that we are just about to undertake. So we're going to go now through each section of the wheel, and we are going to assess your personal satisfaction with that particular area of your relationship. So if you're in a relationship, use that existing relationship, and if you're not, just go back to a previous relationship, because I guarantee you history repeats itself. And we often look for the right partner, but where we need to look, I have found, is we need to look at ourselves, because you would continue to attract exactly the same type of partners until you evoke a shift in yourself. We always attract the relationships that we deserve, not necessarily the one we desire, unfortunately. So starting with passion, we're going to go around the wheel and assess what is the satisfaction from 0 at the center of the wheel being I'm not satisfied at all, to 10 being I'm perfectly happy and I can't have it any better. And for a second, I'm just going to distinguish passion, because we talked a little bit about passion. And passion is actually, the reason that relationships fall apart is often not for the lack of love, but for lack of passion. Passion is what differentiates intimate relationship from a friendship. And passion, as I previously mentioned, is the power of sexual polarity. So for passion to exist, the two partners need to be sexually polarized into their opposites. What I mean by sexually polarized is for women to be really in touch with their feminine essence, and for men to be in touch with their powerful masculine essence. Now, if we look at the way that feminine energy grows, and what we see today, myself included, a lot of women, as we become more and more masculine, we lose touch with our feminine essence. Being masculine is actually a powerful thing, and we learn skills for survival. But what happens in that is that in our intimate relationships, we lose touch with our feminine essence and we become more dominating and controlling, and it doesn't work with men. So take a moment to assess in the area of passion, is it there? And from 0 to 10, 0 being not happy, to 10 being I'm absolutely passionate and in love, give yourself a number. So just give yourself a number. It can be 0 to 10. Then we're going to move on to love. And again, love, actually the title of today's webinar is somewhat tricky, because we said, are you getting the love that you want? And love is really to be given freely. So when you're assessing your satisfaction in the area of love, I'd like for you to consider not so much are you getting the love, but are you freely giving the love that you are? And again, from 0 to 10, assess your satisfaction and give yourself a number. And love is, as I said, unconditional giving. Love is not about taking. Now we're going to move to the next area, and it's intimacy. And intimacy is somewhat similar to passion. Intimacy is actually created and destroyed. It's depth in the relationship. So it's trust, and it's the ability to share freely with your partner. It's ability to be your partner's best friend and then fully support them in whatever they're dealing with. So again, from 0 to 10, take a moment and assess your satisfaction in the area of intimacy. And when you're done, just give yourself a number. And I'd like you to be really brutally honest with yourself, because hopefully nobody's watching, and this is an exercise for you. We're not going to ask you to submit the exercise. Nobody's going to be looking at your satisfaction level. So really be honest with yourself, because that's the first step to creating an amazing relationship, is being authentic about what's working and what's not. And the last area we looked is sex. And again, it's not so much sex. Again, is just something that you need to look for yourself and measure your personal satisfaction, not what people think is right and wrong and enough and not enough. But look at two things. It's the quantity and the quality, and assess whether you are satisfied with the amount of sex in your life and the quality of your sexual relationship, and give yourself a number. So now, after you've done your numbers, I would like you to connect. So if you have your numbers actually represent the wedges of the wheel, you would have a new wheel now, which is made of different size wedges. And when you connect your wheel, it will look something similar to what I have on my screen. So that becomes now your relationship wheel. And the way we look at that in coaching is, if this was a real wheel and you look at it, how bumpy or smooth is your ride through life in your relationship? And as you can see on my screen, that one is a bumpy ride because my numbers are all over the place. And what we're aiming for is a more balanced life. So obviously we can't all aim for a 10 satisfaction level. I mean, that would be ideal. I'm not saying it's not attainable, but even if your satisfaction level is not at a 10, in one area, we're kind of looking at balancing out all areas of the wheel so that we have a smooth ride in our relationship. And on that note, we're going to pick one area now, and we're going to dig a little deeper. And I will share just a quick example for myself so that you get the idea of what it is that we're looking for. In my case, I picked the area of passion. And when we look at the area that you pick, I'd like you to distinguish what is going on for you in that area. So when we look at what's going on, we look at what am I already doing, what am I having as a result of what I'm doing, and how am I being about it. Remember what we said, if you want to change who you attract, or even if you want to see a change in your partner, you need to begin with yourself. So we're going to take a good look now, and we're going to pick the area and take a real honest look at what is going on in that area. So for me, the area that I picked was the area of passion. And as I said, passion is something that is created and destroyed in an instant. That's what we teach people in our both our couples retreats, and now we're starting online courses. But passion is not something that is lost. It's actually lost out of habit. Passion is something that we can trigger in an instant if we knew how to shift in either feminine or masculine polarity, and that will evoke the opposite in the other person. And it's actually beautiful how it works. So as I said, the relationship often fall apart for lack of passion, not for lack of love. You can have a real loving relationship, and when lack of passion is created, it triggers lack of intimacy, and we grow apart. So in the area of passion, what I found I was doing was that I was literally killing the passion in my relationships by taking charge and totally emasculating men. I used to pride myself in being very competent, capable, and confident, and I was determined to prove myself better and to prove the men in my life weak. I took charge and made decisions, and I disallowed men to decide on important matters in my family. Then I bitched and complained that men are really weak and lazy, and I walked all over them, and then I left. So what I had as a result of me doing all these things was lots of work and responsibilities. I was the one doing all the work because I thought I was the only one who can do it better. I had no time for me. I had a lot of stress and frustration, and I had a number of failed relationships and a number of really emasculated men who I was being in my relationships was very masculine and very dominating. I was totally unaware of how my behavior is actually triggering the reaction that I saw in men, and I was completely oblivious and self-righteous. So I'd like you to take a moment, and now the area that you picked, and it doesn't have to be the area with the lowest score. It could be just the area that will make the biggest difference for you right now, either passion, love, intimacy, or sex. And I'd like you to be brutally honest with yourself and see what is it that you're doing in that, and it could be a number of things. As I said, um, I was doing all the wrong things, not knowingly, totally subconsciously, and then I was bitching and complaining, and I was blaming men for how they reacted to me. So I'm just going to shut up now and give you guys a minute to take a look, and in your piece of paper, just write it down, a few things that you are already doing, and what is it that you're having as a result. How is that affecting both the relationship and the other person? Or are you even having a relationship as a result of that? And then take a look at how are you being about it. I'll give you just a minute, okay? Okay, so hopefully everybody has something. And this is where being truthful really matters, because we will continue looking at that exercise, and that's where you actually make a difference for yourself. So now we're going to look at your probable future in that area of your relationship. And notice that I didn't say inevitable. There's a big difference between inevitable future and probable. Inevitable is something that is going to occur no matter what. Like, for instance, we're all likely to grow old. Unfortunately, inevitable is something that is going to happen no matter what. Probable is something that will most likely happen unless it gets interrupted. So we're going to distinguish what will happen in that area of your relationship if it doesn't get interrupted. If things continue the way they are, what is most likely the future going to look like for you? And again, I'm just going to share mine so that you get a sense of how to look at yours. So for me, I was likely to continue searching for Mr. Right, going through one man after another. I would likely find one and then go through my whole process, emasculate him and push him away. Eventually, I would either leave them or I would cause them to leave me. I would complain that there's no good man left out there. And I will end up being miserable and resign about love and relationships and probably just quit it. So take a moment and distinguish yours. Again, I'll just give you a minute. Just quickly write down, how do you see the future is likely to go for you? I'm just going to quickly share a joke for you guys, especially the ladies out there. I can't see the attendees, so I don't know who we have in the audience, but I just recently learned a term called frog farming, and it refers, you guys know about the princess who kissed the frog, and the frog turned into a prince. Apparently what we do today, ladies, is we find the prince, and then once we get involved with them, we turn them into frogs. So consider when you're looking at your probable future that we do tend to do that totally unconsciously, just because we don't recognize what it is that we push each other's buttons totally in the wrong way. We trigger the worst in each other. So hopefully everybody has a glimpse of their probable future, and if it's looking pretty gloomy, please do not despair, because we're not going to leave you there. We actually have, our next step is to create a new possibility for yourself. So as I said, taking responsibility for where you are, it's a really powerful step. So I really want to applaud you on looking at your own relationship with authenticity, and where you are is just perfect. Now we're going to take a look at what would it take for you to create a new possibility in that area of your relationship. So I'm going to share again in my case, but when we look for a new possibility, we look at what is it that is missing in that area of my relationship, that if it was to be present, will make a difference or even inspire us. So for instance, for me, when I looked at what was missing, for me it was just being curious about the other person's needs in a relationship and actually educating myself on how men are very different from women and understanding what it is that men need to thrive. Then what was missing was my willingness to grow and take responsibility for how my way of being impacts the way that my relationships turn out. What was also missing was understanding that I have the ability to either amplify or kill my partner's attraction towards me and the passion in the relationship. I totally had the power to do that, but I didn't know how. And what was also missing for me was the belief that I can actually have the relationship of my dream. I was settling for mediocrity because I didn't really know I can have any better. So again, I'll give you just 1 minute. I know we're kind of rushing through, but in the essence of time, just take a minute and consider what is missing for you in the area of your life. If what's missing was actually there, would that inspire you? Would that make a difference for you right now? Just take a moment and write it down. So now hopefully everybody has something that they have recognized is missing. And now we're going to take that and turn it around. So I'd like you to imagine what was missing was already there. I would like you to take a moment, visualize what is it that you really want. If you can have the relationship of your dream, what would it look like? Who are you being in that relationship? How are you relating to your partner? And what is it that you see you trigger back in them? How is your partner with you? Just take a moment, close your eyes, and visualize. Really get into it. See your relationship flourishing. Everything you ever desired, you actually have right now in your relationship. And that's the relationship that I'm committed for you to have. So you might be asking yourself by now, well, if this was so simple, why can't I have it? Why didn't I already create it? Well, the reason we believe in coaching is that people often struggle and get caught up in a cycle is because in life we seem to have this thing called a blind spot. And this is where we look in life coaching and specifically in relationship coaching. This is where we take a glimpse of what is it that it would take for you to have your vision of your perfect relationship fulfilled. That possibility that you created for yourself. This is where we look at what would it take to have my possibility real in life. So if you take a circle and you can use the circle that you see on my screen, if you imagine that all the knowledge in the universe is inside that circle. Now picture how much of that knowledge is with us here tonight. And I can't see how many people are online, but imagine if this is all the knowledge on the universe. It's probably just a little glimpse, little fraction of what is here with us tonight. But for the sake of this exercise, I've given you guys a bigger wedge. So all the knowledge that is here with us tonight, we're going to call that everything we know, we know. And you see that on your screen as KK is what we know, we know. So what are some of the things that we know, we know? For me, for instance, I know my name. I know that I know how to multiply. I know that I know how to drive a car. So those are all the things that I'm really certain that I know how to do. Now, the next wedge that you see on your screen is all the things that we know we don't know. And we're really conscious of those things. So what are some of the things that I know I don't know? Some of the things I know I don't know would be that I know I'm not a surgeon. You don't want me performing a brain surgery on you. I also know that I don't know how to drive an airplane. And now I'd like you to direct your attention to the rest of the circle. And this is the area that we work in our programs. This is the area that you don't know that you don't know. Now, what are some of the things that you don't know about the possibility that you created tonight? Remember that vision for your relationship? What is something you don't know that you don't know about it? That's right, it's a tricky question. If you already knew what it is, you would already know it. It will belong in the what I know, I don't know circle. So the things we don't know are just that. They're a blind spot. And this is where breakthroughs happen in respect to fulfilling on your possibility of your relationships. The things that we don't know, we are not conscious of, and we can't consciously change. So for instance, many people know how to lose weight, right? We all know how to lose weight. Less calorie in, more calorie out. But how many people are still struggling with weight? Because knowing really makes no difference. In traditional education, what we do is we just move things from the wedge that the things that we know we don't know, we move them into things we know by taking courses, by doing research on the internet. Is a lot of information. But moving things from what we know we don't know into what we know is actually not going to make difference in your possibility. It's really uncovering the blind spot. So in coaching, and specifically the way that we design our programs, is that we shed some light onto that blind spot. And for tonight, I just wanted to give you a little glimpse into the passion area, because that's the one we already talked about. So the blind spot that we all have to some extent is that, first of all, the fact that passion is created by polarity is really in the blind spot already. I don't think we naturally understand that. In addition, feminine versus masculine, it's what creates the polarity. The farther away you are on your feminine masculine scale, the more passion and polarity in your relationships. However, our understanding that does not come natural to us today, because women have become much more masculine. We have actually grown more complete by growing our strong masculine side. And men have become more complete by embracing their emotional side and they're more in touch with their feelings. So understanding, though, that deep inside we're still wired for survival. Our DNA has not changed for the hundreds of thousands of years. We're still wired for survival. Deep inside of us, there's still caveman, cavewoman mentality that is driving our instinct. I'm not saying conscious decisions, I'm just saying instinct. And often we react by instinct, not even knowing why we do it. Then we relate to each other as if we are the same. Women, we don't understand how guys are different in the way that the world occurs to them, and guys do just the same with us. They think that women are just overly emotional men, and ladies, we think that they're just big hairy women. So not understanding how we are so different, we use the other person's reason. We don't understand the reasons for behaving a certain way, and we make them wrong. We assume that they're just misbehaving on purpose, and we react to them as if they should know better. The added layer of complexity is, like I said, feminine and masculine, feminine men, masculine women. We have become much more blended today. So that creates challenges when women actually don't trust men very much. Part of the reason I kept taking charge and walking all over men was because I didn't trust that men can actually fulfill on what I wanted to create in my life. I didn't trust that men are powerful enough. And the irony is that I just didn't understand how men do things different. So when men acted a certain way, I didn't understand that that's their way of being powerful, and that's their way of accomplishing things. I didn't even give them the opportunity to go forward, and then even honestly, ladies, when I look back, men have been just so wonderful to me. And all I did was look at them through a prism that told me that they're not behaving in the way I expected them to behave from my feminine perspective, and I just made them wrong. Men are just amazing providers. Men are wired to provide and protect, and they will give us anything. They will give us the world, but we need to know how to ask for it. And the more we become masculine in this world, the more we live inside this masculine energy, the less we know how to receive the gifts of men. And the same goes for men. I think men don't know anymore how to make women happy. Men try really hard, and ladies, we don't often give them a chance. And for men, it's really important to make their woman happy. It's almost like part of their masculinity. They get a real sense of self and honor by making us happy. So all of those complexities play a part. And for tonight, I just wanted to give you a quick glimpse into the distinction of feminine and masculine energy. That is actually something that's charging through our bodies, regardless of whether you're man or woman. We have both sides inside. However, by DNA structure, our instinct is driven. If you're a woman, you're instinctively more driven to react as a woman, and if you are a man, you're instinctively more driven to react as a man. And so let's see what is so different about us. Women were designed to be gatherers, and men, masculine energy, men were designed to be hunters. So what is so different about that is that men, as a hunter, they're single focused. Imagine a hunter who gets distracted, he will never catch the deer. So by design, ladies, it's not a factory defect. The reason men are single focused and they can't pay attention, they would walk all over a sock and will not notice if you put something on their way, because they are actually single focused and they're driven by a purpose. So if what you put in their way does not fit within their purpose right now, they would not even notice it. And ladies, what do? We actually make them wrong. We think that they're just inconsiderate and lazy. Women, on the other side, we as gatherers, we tend to scan the whole environment. So when you ask, well, then does it mean women can focus on many things at a time? No, we actually can focus. We have this diffused awareness. And again, it's by design, because as gatherers, as mothers, we need to be aware of the environment, and we need to know. Imagine if you are single focused and you start cooking and you forgot that you have a baby in the other room. Like, we need to be able to spread ourselves and take care of everything simultaneously. That's what women are really, that's why women are better multitaskers. Now, when I say women and men, please hear feminine and masculine, because a lot of women, as I said, we've developed our masculine side. So when I talk about women and you hear things that don't belong to you, chances are that your masculine is so strong and so developed that you may have shifted and you may not be so experiencing the same qualities that are typical for feminine energy. The second thing that I wanted to touch on is feminine is driven towards love and connection, and masculine is driven by freedom. So again, what do we mean by that? You know, how women, we are natural connectors. Again, stepping into business, again, women have a lot of advantages, because in many areas of business, we actually have qualities that that allow us to excel over men. And we connect better, we instantly know. Again, it's not a coincidence. We have hormones flowing through us from very early age that allow women to be very receptive, and we read cues, we read body language and signs, where men actually are more the way that men communicate is more straightforward. Women communicate through cues. We have this way of hinting on things where men would just tell you what they want. Feminine energy is stimulated by praise, and masculine energy is stimulated by challenge. So again, masculine energy grows through challenge. The more, that's why you see little boys literally try to kill themselves testing how much farther can I take things, because they're growing that powerful masculine side of themselves. So in today's society, though, women are faced with a lot of challenges. So the more we overcome challenges, the more we become powerful in our masculine side. And it's all good thing. It's really beautiful for women to be able to take care of themselves. The only thing we need to watch is in intimate relationships, and especially when we want to create intimacy and sexual polarity, we don't want to be stepping forward and taking charge and you know, being with men in a way that is dominating and controlling. So what men can do to help us grow our feminine side, and that's where the beauty lies, is that both feminine, masculine, they work together as a union. It's designed that way. It's a call of nature. So what men can do to help us grow our feminine side is praise us. Feminine energy grows through praise. Feminine energy is looking constantly for attention. That's why women take the time to dress, and for us, the attention that we receive from the world makes us alive, and it brings out the beauty in the feminine energy. Masculine energy looking for appreciation. So as I said, men, they would bring the world to us just for a little sense of appreciation. It's like the hunter. When the hunter brings home the meat, what do we expect? A celebration. But today, ladies, do we ever give them a celebration? They come home and it's never good enough. So just food for thought, masculine seeks to be seen as a hero. Feminine seeks to be seen as light and love. Now for the hero to show up, we need to create space. Ladies, hero cannot enforce himself on you. So an example of me when I was totally oblivious to the fact how my behavior is emasculating to men was I was so independent and competent that I would never ever let men experience themselves powerful in my presence. I used to carry this heavy bag. I used to teach classes in yoga and Pilates, and I would carry like 15 mats in my bag. And when men offered to help me, I'd proudly say, no, I don't need your help. So again, ladies, food for thought. For a hero to step in, you need to create the space. You need to step back and allow them to be your hero. And it makes the world to men. It really is a sense of pride and sense of masculinity. And another distinction about feminine and masculine is that feminine seeks to fill and masculine seeks to empty. Masculine seeks to empty from the burden of life, the burden of relationships. To the masculine, life occurs as a burden that they want to release from. Even sexually, the way we're designed is feminine, empty, and masculine, release. Now, in terms of where you may notice that in your house, you walk into men's house and it's empty. All they want is empty space. You walk into a feminine house and what you see is a lot of things. Women, we can't stand an empty corner. The moment we have an empty corner, we need to go and shop more so that we can fill that corner. Sounds familiar, ladies? So one example I'm going to give you is in the area of communication, so that we can make it a little more practical. And in the area of communication, the way that masculine looks at communication is that first they search for what's the point of that communication, and then they look at what is the problem that I need to solve. And masculine being that they're generous providers, and they're always ready and willing to solve your problems. So when men communicate, this is where you may see some of the misunderstanding happening, that blind spot we're talking about, is in communication. When men communicate, they look for what's the point, and if you are happy, they look for what's the point. If you are upset, they look for what is the problem and how can I solve it. Now, ladies, the way we communicate is from a place of sharing. Again, as a gatherer, all we want to do is empty our basket. We've been out there in the field. We saw all these amazing things. We can actually go out for 5 minutes. We can come back and give a half an hour report on all the things we've seen. Because feminine is vibrant, alive, flowing, and that again is the beauty of the polarity between feminine and masculine, is that feminine brings that aliveness into everything. So when a woman is sharing, there's no point. It's just we're sharing for the sake of sharing. Sharing is the whole point. It's connection. So what you need to look for as a guy is, don't look for a point. Don't try to solve us. There's nothing to be solved. We actually get really annoyed when you try to solve us. What we need is for you to just listen, and we call it hold the bucket. Just let us empty our basket. The amount of details we give you actually indicates trust. So if a woman gives you a lot of details, and guys, I know how difficult it is to listen to details that don't seemingly have any point, but trust me on this, if a woman gives you a lot of details, that's a good sign. That means she's trusting you. The other challenge is that men or masculine, they communicate in a more explicit language, and again, it's by their wiring, their DNA is wired to be more single focus, and therefore when men communicate, they just have very straight conversations. But with women, we communicate with more implicit language. So for instance, if we're driving and I say to Massimo, are you hungry? If this was a guy-to-guy conversation, it will go like this. Are you hungry? No, I'm not. I'm not hungry. Are you hungry? No, I'm not. End of conversation. If you're driving with a woman, when I ask Massimo, are you hungry? I'm actually processing if I'm hungry myself. So if all he did was answer, no, I'm not, I'm thinking, what an asshole. He should have asked me because maybe I'm hungry. So guys, when women talk to you, listen for the emotion more than the actual language. You want to hear what is going on for her. And again, you want to pay attention to her. Women really love it when you're actually observing and you know what it is that they need, and you offer it before we even ask. So we covered some of that already, but what feminine needs to grow is praise, genuine praise. So guys, when you pay attention to women and you praise them genuinely, they actually grow vibrant and alive. Masculine grows with challenge. So again, guys, don't shy away from challenge, because this is where you grow strong. This is where you get to experience yourself. And unfortunately, in today's environment, we don't have a lot of opportunities. I mean, the opportunities will always be there, but when fortunate for us, we're not going through any types of hardships, and I'm talking about the Western world. We're not in any major devastation and war, so there's less opportunities for guys to actually strengthen their masculine. But please, 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 guys, any opportunity you have to challenge yourself, go ahead and take it, because this is the only way you get to experience and grow your powerful masculine self. And it makes a world of difference when a woman knows that she can trust you, when you have strong sense of purpose, direction, and they know that you're actually able to get there, she can relax. As women, we are constantly testing you. It may look ridiculous to you, and we don't do it consciously, but women, feminine, is constantly testing the masculine to know, and we know exactly where to poke, where it hurts. But make no big deal out of it. It's just a test, and every time you pass, we go more vibrant and more relaxed, because the feminine can only be feminine, radiant, beautiful, and alive when it's relaxed. Feminine grows with attention. Masculine goes through appreciation. Ladies, a little appreciation will go a long way, and that man will keep bringing you gifts again and again. Appreciate every little thing they bring to you. Feminine is to let go in order to be alive, masculine needs to take charge. For men to actually experience yourself more powerful, you need to take charge. You don't need to wait to take charge. Often guys today say, well, but she wouldn't let me. Well, she wouldn't let you because she doesn't trust you that you can. She doesn't trust that you would actually take charge with the right intention at heart. So if a woman trusts that you have her best interest at heart and you're capable, she would willingly relinquish power and control and let you take charge. So guys, please, the more you take charge, the more polarity you create in your relationships. Feminine is flow and masculine is purpose. If I can give you a metaphor, imagine river, where feminine is the water flowing and splashing and going wild, and masculine is the river banks. So as you can see, both are necessary because flow without banks goes nowhere. It's like a lot of women get together and yak about nothing. And the masculine without the feminine, it's really dry and boring. And feminine lives in the heart, masculine lives in the head. So for women to get more in touch with your essence, you need to step out of your head. I know, ladies, a lot of us today, we have careers and jobs and businesses that do require we live inside that head. But until we learn how to step out of it, and I'm not saying in business you can do that, but whenever you have an opportunity, you need to find a way to step out of your head and live in your body. That's the access for the feminine, is to live in the body. That's your way of experiencing yourself in your feminine. So a few little tips on how to create passion in your relationship by emphasizing the polarity for women. Let them take charge, ladies. Initially, it might be hard, but trust me, the more you do, the more you will see that men will not disappoint you and they will do a really great job and you will be able to relax. Create the space for him to be your hero. It's not something he can step in. You need to let him be. By relinquishing some of your capability and competence. Show genuine appreciation for his gifts and intention, no matter how small. Invite and lure with affection. So often as women, as we become more powerful and more in touch with our masculine energy, we become more forceful. And ladies, you know how criticism works. It just doesn't. So instead of nagging men, they actually have a real filter for nagging. It's been actually proven that they register complaining and nagging in the part of the brain that process sounds, the same sounds that music is registered. So except nagging and complaining doesn't sound like music, but it sounds like this creaky sound that it makes them just want to run away. So the better way to have men give you what you want is to lure them with affection and, again, inviting. Feminine energy looks to fill in, so invite. Force is the masculine energy. Try to stay away from forcing and look more to invite men to be part of. To give you an interesting example, actually, I was early in the fall and we had some leaves falling down, and I asked my partner Massimo to come and help me with the leaves, and he said, well, I'm really not interested and that's not something I enjoy. And so a couple of hours later we were having coffee and leaves packed and everything taken care of, and he said to me, you know what, I never loved doing that, but with you I have so much fun, I actually enjoyed it. So ladies, we know how to actually invite men to do things, and it works. Use it. And if you don't, take our courses, we'll teach you that. So do not tell him what to do. Where's the heroism in telling men what to do? If you give him the shopping list, he can't be a hero going to the store with a shopping list. Let them give him. Again, there's a real reason why women, we want to give you a shopping list, because as a gatherer, we need to give you all that information, which to us is important. We need to tell you where the poison berries are and where the good ones are. For us, every detail we need to register. It's by design, guys. It's not that we chose it. It's something that we have in us as an instinct. But ladies, always remember that for him to feel powerful and to be your hero, you need to trust him. Trusting men to bring you what you want is a huge deal. And it's a big practice for us because as women, we forgot how to trust. Do not make him wrong. We all know how men don't like to be given, they don't like to ask for directions. They don't like to be told that they took the wrong street. So try to stay away from making them wrong. And in communication, listen to understand what matters to him. We often listen from a place, again, in the beginning we talked about as human beings, we listen from a place of do I agree or disagree. We judge and compare with what we know. And often the way we listen to men is from that place. When men share, it actually is a very deep thing because men form opinion based on their life experience and values. So it's almost there's a sense of honor. When they share something, it comes from that deep place. And please do not take that lightly. When we listen from a place of do I agree or disagree, they feel that we're really not, we're not supportive of them. And for a guy, it's a big thing. When we're not supportive of them, they feel like we are distrusting them, and it's very emasculating. So instead, what I invite you to consider is listen for what are the values and what are the what is important to him when he's sharing, instead of looking for do I agree or disagree. Now for men, some tips on how you can actually trigger passion in your relationship is take charge. Whether she likes it or not, take charge and let her relax and flow. See, flow does not have timeline. Flow does not have deadlines. So for a woman, in order to be able to relax, you need to take things away from her so that she has nothing to worry about. And I'm not saying do that all the time, but give her moments. Like when she comes home from work, surprise her with a dinner so she doesn't really have to think. When a woman lives in her head, she cannot be in her heart and body at the same time. So for a woman to step out of her head, you need to take care of what needs to be done. Make decisions that serve her and others, not yourself. Guys, when you're really selfish, we can see that and we know, and that's why we take charge and we make decisions that are better for everybody else and ourselves. So if women trusted that your decisions will actually include her, she would more willingly let you take charge and make decisions. Praise her. Do not criticize. Women actually react to criticism by closing off, closing down. So one thing that you can do to help women open up and be more radiant is to praise them. Give her attention. Women require attention 7/24. We never stop. Actually, if you are sitting in front of the TV and a woman comes to bug you, chances are she's actually looking for attention. So just turning away from that TV for 5 seconds and giving her attention will probably save you a lot of trouble. Embrace all of her emotions. And guys, I hear you, it's not easy. Nobody likes to be in the presence of an emotional woman. But asking a woman to only choose some emotions over another, it's like scaling the ocean into a swimming pool. And trust me, when you make love to your woman, you don't want the swimming pool, you want the ocean. So if that's what you want, you need to actually encourage and embrace all of her emotions. And there's ways to actually handle her emotions in a way that it's calming to her and it's not so devastating to you. And we teach that in our courses. It's actually very simple, and again, it's energetic shift. We actually had this instant when Massimo and I had a fight, and I was really angry with him. And then he asked me if I wanted to go for a walk. And gentlemen, the only reason I accepted that walk was so that I have the opportunity to bitch and complain a little longer. I didn't want him to walk away. I wanted to have the opportunity to keep going. So I went out, but in my rushing out, I forgot to take my jacket. So as we're walking down the street, he looked at me and he said, "You look really cold." He took off his jacket and he gave it to me. In that instant, this is what I'm talking about, the power of polarity. In that instant, I had a total shift. And from hate, I went to love, and I almost wanted him to make love to me. So this is so brilliant, the way that polarity works, and you can create it. All you need to know is how to evoke it in a moment. It's not something that's built over time. Love is created with trust, but polarity is an instant shift, and it can be evoked. So we teach that in our both our workshops, and we're now creating online courses because we realized a lot of people can't travel and make it all the way to Italy and take a week, beautiful castles. So we've actually looked at packaging our material, and we'll offer that online. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that. And the way you want to listen to a woman, guys, is not for how you can solve her problems, but just allow her to empty her basket. Just listen from a place of curiosity and don't judge, don't solve. All you can do is just enjoy. Notice if she gives you details, that's a good sign. Just trusting you. So now I'm just going to say a little bit more about what's coming, and then we have actually a little bit over time. So the perfect blend for couples, as I said, we have our retreats, our week-long retreats is what we specialize in, and we're starting, actually we're just planning the dates for spring of 2013, and there's still some opportunities for fall. So if you're interested in receiving more information, please go to www.theperfectblendforcouples.com and just submit your, I'm actually going to walk you through this so you can see how it works. But starting this fall, we're actually creating online programs. And for women, the program is called Understanding Men, and we teach you all of the things we talked today and much, much more. And for men, it's called Making Sense of Women, because a lot of you guys think we're crazy. We're actually not. And regular price is $2.99, but since this is this is a new way for us and we're looking for feedback, we're actually offering this fall program for the low price of 99 bucks, and we give you the opportunity to register in the next 24 hours. So to take advantage of that special, I will show you where you need to go. And all you have to do to find the online courses, go into our philosophy, and this is where we explain a little bit about what we believe and what we teach. And here you are. You can register for either Understanding Men or Making Sense of Women. And if our week-long retreats is something you wanted to find out more about, just go to join us and enter your information. We will be sending you information as we have our next retreat scheduled. So this is all for me for today. I'd like to thank you very much for your attention and time. I know your time is yours and you gave it to me generously. So I really thank you. I hope you get inspired that relationship is possible. I guarantee you I speak from experience and I had almost given up. So if it's possible for me, I know it's possible for everyone. Thank you everyone and good night.